I mentioned that I spoke with Terry, who is the attorney for Hildebrand. I asked him why this hearing was postponed and whether he wanted to speak on camera. And what he told me is he was uncomfortable speaking on camera because he still didn't know that much about the case, which really goes to show you the amount of evidence that we have here.
Mountains of evidence, or just unwillingness to want to disclose information. I don't know. But basically, you guys have probably heard it by now. They have decided to postpone the hearing to next month because there's a whole mound of evidence which has now come in, and I can understand it from the point of, well, there is quite a lot to get through, especially if you're wanting to then take into account just everything else that happened to those kids and just in general over the course of the 8 passengers, if they're wanting to take that on as well, or if they're solely focusing on the crimes which were committed when they found the 2 children.
Official hearing date set for the future, but the motion that was filed stipulated that it should be set after October 5th. So that's almost 3 weeks away from right now, but still no official date set.
We know that the last court trial, I believe it was actually this one, it got pushed around because Jodi Hildebrandt's attorney said that she needed to go to the hospital for a few days for life-threatening circumstances. We know that Ruby's been on the medical ward. So things were already, being switched around. But from what I understand, my basic knowledge of this kind of stuff, that kind of stuff does happen anyway. I mean, dates get moved. But now they're saying that there's so much evidence that they have to get through that even Jodi Hildebrandt's attorney didn't fully understand it. And I'm like, I don't know. I find that just a little bit strange. Like, I don't know if she's only just got an attorney or what the situation is. Maybe they are being lumbered with a lot of evidence. Like I say, I don't know if they're taking into account just the sheer volume of evidence which dates back to even before these crimes occurred. I don't know what they're deciding to focus on, but if they're focusing on like Jodi Hildebrandt's past track record, like crimes against her niece and other people, and then you then have Ruby Franke and the things that she things she was guilty of when she had the 8 Passengers channel, you just don't know how far they're going to go back, or if there's way more to this story in present day than we are made aware of. Now, Shari Franke actually attended this court hearing. Here she is looking like an absolute rock star, going in and out. But there is something which is playing on the court's minds, is if they want to keep this open or open to the public, or they want to keep it private, purely because it's focusing around children and they want to be able to shield the children away from any more of this crap, which is, I think that if there's children involved, that would be a really good way to go. I know that it's going to get a lot of media attention and a lot of people want to witness exactly what's going on. But the main thing that I think could be quite sad about this is that Shari Franke, Ruby Franke's eldest daughter, who has been trying to get on this for the past year, has been calling CPS, has been hoping and praying for these days to come, has also endured, abuse within the family, and was a victim of the whole 8 passenger vlogging thing, and overall pretty shitty. So I think she should be able to get a voice.
14 months.
Is there a possibility that if the case were sold to the public that Shari would still have access to it, or would she also be barred?
That's up to the judge.
But it could happen.
It could happen either way. Yep, that's just totally up to the judge.
So that was Kevin Franke's attorney, and he has been doing quite a lot of press runs recently. You can find quite a lot of them out on the Law and Crime Network. They don't really tell you a great deal. I find that sometimes when you're watching the interviews, you might learn something new, such as in the last interview he did, we learned Ruby and him ended it due to a difference in parenting styles, etc., which we weren't privy to. And Kevin and Ruby had to, Ruby basically told him to leave and that he couldn't see or be around the kids or herself, and it would somehow help their marriage. So you find out bits and pieces. This is important because what he just answered was, yes, Shari there might be a chance that the judge might rule it. This isn't obviously what he said, but he's basically saying that the judge might rule that she can't attend, which I do think is greatly unfair. I really do. I think she's got just as much of a right to be there as any of the other people. If the case was closed, you know, why can't they just allow, you know, close family members, especially if they have had a part to play in it, just from being on a victim standpoint. Now, I did also read this article as well, which goes into a little bit more detail, which will explain things a little bit better than I can. So it's titled, Ruby Franke's attorney expects her to be incarcerated for the foreseeable future, and it's a KSL article. I do think that is proper interesting, because they cannot be having a good time in there. I don't want them to have a good time, but I'm just saying that, as others have pointed out, even this lady pointed this one out, that they are not used to this kind of living accommodations. Let me just tell you that. Like, they're probably not used to that. Well, no, they're definitely not. Honestly, they must be absolutely hating it, and I love that for them.
I would think, and of course this is speculation, but that Hildebrandt and Franke aren't used to the conditions that they would have in a county jail, and would assume that both of them are hoping to be eligible for bail. So I would think that defense attorneys at this time are pushing for a hearing like that so that their clients could potentially be released. But when I spoke to Terry just moments ago, he didn't make any mention of that.
So in the article, it says the motion said attorneys agreed during a phone conversation on Sunday that additional time is needed to review the copious amounts of discovery. On September 9th, Franke asked for detention to be addressed more quickly, and the hearing in her criminal case was moved up a few days. At the Provo hearing Monday, Judge Bazell talked about a pending motion to seal the case, which has been agreed to by all the attorneys. Ruby Franke's husband, Kevin Franke, was at the courthouse with his attorney. Bazell expressed a desire to only speak about scheduling and procedural issues during the case, citing a motion that has been filed to close the case to the public. She asked attorneys to be careful about what is said in court while that motion is pending. It also mentions someone who is representing the children in the case, saying that, you know, it should be sealed to, you know, keep the children safe. And I fully support that. I really honestly do, because of the nature of the case. I really do support that. My only concern would be that people such as Shari Franke wouldn't be able to attend, but we're going to get into that in just a second. Not sealing the case is fundamentally unfair to them. It's contrary to their best interests, and it's being tried on the world stage as we speak. And I think this is a really good point. I know that a lot of people want like a bloodbath. They want to see, you know, they want to see repercussions for Jodie and Ruby's actions, but unfortunately, because this does pertain to little children who have already been through so much, it wouldn't be fair, and it would be selfish. I really do think fundamentally it would be quite a selfish thing to go, no, let's keep it open so that, you know, everyone can watch it. Because I do think that at this level of exposure, pretty much most people know about this case. I was having like the longest conversation with my kid's grandma about this exact thing the other day, because she was well curious. She was like, oh, I've heard about this, I've been reading all about it, you know, and she's not the biggest news watcher either. I was surprised she even knew about it. But what I'm trying to say, and my mum knew about it, like, I'm just trying to say that people who I wouldn't suspect would even know about this, we're talking about it, seem to know a lot about it. They are public figures. Overexposure of the kids when they were children on the Family Channel and things. People know of them, the 8 passengers, and now people know of Kevin and Ruby, and now people know about Jodie. Before the real nitty gritty you know, testimonies and all of that start coming out in court, I think they probably should seal it just to protect the children, because they don't need to be going through this again. They don't need to relive this when they're old enough to access the internet and they find out, you know, step by step that the whole world was watching. And I don't know, I feel an icky feeling about it if it's not sealed. Bazell said she wants to consider other viewpoints, and noted that there were multiple media representatives in the room, but agreed that dealing with children is sometimes sensitive. Bazell asked Shari Franke, Ruby's oldest daughter, who was at the hearing with her attorney, to file a motion weighing in on the request to seal the case, which would prevent her from attending future hearings. Now, judging by the way that Shari was kind of entering this is literally purely speculation. I'm not a body language expert, all right? But I'm just going to say that if you look at this clip, the way that she was striding in, striding out, I think she wants to be there. I mean, if she didn't want to be there, she wouldn't go, obviously. And according to news outlets, Shari Franke and Kevin Franke arrived separately. They did not go in together. And so, you know, she's going of her own will. And I honestly feel that they should grant her, I know it's so stupid me even saying this, because who the hell is going to listen to me? But they should allow her access. You know, they should do.
We did get some video of some of the key players in this case coming in and out of the courthouse. Take a look here. Kevin Franke and his lawyer arrived just before 8:30 this morning. His oldest daughter was also here. She arrived separately from Kevin.
The article then says the hearing on October 17th is set to occur in person, and Bazell said the court will prepare a transportation order for Ruby Franke to be transported from jail. The hearing will be public unless Bazell grants the motion to seal the case. So yeah, we are going to find out in upcoming weeks whether or not they're going to seal it or not. If you want to go read the article, I will just leave it linked to the description box. I sort of just went and cherry picked the things that I wanted to talk about, such as the mass amounts of evidence that keeps on coming in, which is meant to, you know, push the court date back. And then we of course have the fact that they might be sealing this case and making it not open to the public. But, you know, there is that possibility that you know, the eldest kid, Shari Franke, she may not be able to attend if they decide to do so, which I think will be a shame, especially as she is a family member and she was involved with, you know, trying to bring attention to what her mum was doing by phoning CPS and trying to sort the mess out, doing as much as she could legally. I do think, yeah, it's obviously a big shame if she's not able to go. Those are just my thoughts and feelings. Sorry for the short one, sorry for the slightly rambly one, but that's what you got. We're actually going through a bit of a thunderstorm right now. It's been wrestling the caravan and you cannot step outside, but at least I'm not stuck in a cell with Ruby or Jodie, all right? Everything could be worse. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you are in this world. Take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I will catch up with you guys in the next video.